Hello, guys. Thanks for joining in. Network security on the whole, it's like it's one of the tower inside cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a very big, it's a vast domain which has multiple towers in it, and one among the tower, is the network security, and it's a core tower of cybersecurity. So it's a premium, or what do you call it, as it's the backbone of the whole security posture of any single company or any organization you take. So that's going to be the background of the security posture of the organization. Okay. So today we are going to start from security and its need. What is security all about? What's the purpose? What's the need? For the organizations, or from an individual standpoint as well. Let's not take it up to an organization standpoint. Some kind of big companies or forums. Let's not go into that part. Let's talk about the single person's point of view. What is the need and what's the security and its need. Let's also talk about the network security. Where does network security fall in the picture of a cyber security? When you talk about cyber security, what part it takes, where does it fall? And as a network security engineer, it's like who is termed to be a network security engineer? What all you will have and what all you will get to know, and what all will be your, the knowledge that you have, or the key areas where you would work when you are a network security engineer. We'll also, talk about a prominent case study about few ransomwares that happen across, multiple healthcare verticals and, banking and finance verticals. And we'll also, go in detail about the career path and the job opportunities. What you have to do, to become a, certified network security engineer, and how should the career path be, and what all job opportunities, when you talk about network security, what is the job opportunity you have when you come out as, in this current market trend, how much you have, and what is the value that a network security engineer takes place. And finally, we'll land in, we'll close the currents before having a Q&A. Security and its, so what do we need security? So security, when you talk about, let's not talk technically about security. Security, let's put it in a common English phrase. So security is all about securing yourself or keeping your personal data. Or what do? We have a house, we secure it, we have a lock towards it, we lock it out. Yes, we lock the main gate and we go back, and again we lock the doors. And again you go back, you lock your shutters. So all these are the layers of security. Even a building has a security, its own security. A person has his own security. He makes sure that he has a mobile phone when he travels alone in late night. Okay, so he has his own securities. Okay, when you talk about an organization, okay, they have their own security. They have a security in the in the gate premises, and after you go, they have a security in the building premises. After you go, that you go beyond that, they give your access card or identity card or whatever it is. They again filter you. So security has become one of the most important factor from an individual person to a very big organization. So that's what I've said. With rapid growth of technologies, and mankind adopting to them. So we are adopting to the technologies right now. Say we started all together from 1100 Nokia, and we landed up in a phone that can eventually do what a computer can do right now. Yeah, we have grown with unimaginable a technology growth which is there, and mankind adapting to it at little stages. And every single time we start adopting some kind of additional features, there comes a vulnerability or a loophole where you have to take care of your security at one level even more. So with rapid growth of technologies and mankind adapting to it, it is essential to secure every aspect of online information and data. Agreed. So you have your data, your documents at your home. It's safe and secure. You put it in a cloud environment, you're still not sure where is it cloud. No. Cloud is just a general term. So do you know where the data is? No one knows it. It could be in any of the geographical location. It could be placed elsewhere. So with this rapid growth, with the way we are adopting towards it, it's really essential for us to make sure that we are secure and the information is secure. As internet grows and computer network becomes bigger, data integrity has become one of the most important aspects of an organization or an individual to be considered. Exactly. So we all use smartphones. We all have Gmail apps. We all have Google Drive. Everything is cloud. We all have Gmails. We all have Google Drive. How many of, we all use our data, we all transfer our data to Google Drive. We all save it. Are we sure that the data is safe? The Google gives you an information protection policy. Yes, the data is safe, but still, it is vulnerable. It is not in your premises. You cannot control it over. You don't have the control over the data. You have been given your data with someone else, and there is no control for you over it. The security posture, you don't have any control. So it's obviously vulnerable. That's what I say. So when it's vice versa, it's proportional. As the feature grows, the security, has to become, more prominent, because your vulnerability is spreading across. You're very prone to vulnerable when you start adopting all the smart features. This digital haste has brought a complete change in the way we view and experience the world. Totally agree. This Google map has totally put upside down on what we were earlier and what we are right now. So this Google information, Google captures your location information, and it keeps updating. It keeps updating itself. Where you are and what you're doing. It is something that your information is kept open for each and everyone across the globe. So that's what happened right now. As connectivity increases, the risk of security also crops up exponentially. The same also is what I said. It's proportional. When technology grows, vulnerability grows. A security breach can lead to fatal consequences to an organization and even nations. Few of you would have heard about the Cambridge Analytica, which happened when during the elections that took place in US. Information, that was a security breach. Informations were taken out of the Facebook. Facebook was literally compromised. It led to the change of election level issues were created. Another person could have won. The data was breached. It led to a very big escalation over the nation itself. The Facebook had to pay some of money, and to prove that they did not do it, and it was out of a vulnerability that was there in their application. So it can even impact, cause fatal consequences to even nations. Yes, again, cybersecurity. So just we came through what security is all about. Yes. Now, what is cybersecurity? What is cyber world? Cyber world is what we are in right now. Anything that works on internet, any device, be it your mobile, be it your car. Internet car is here right now. Hector is here. MG Hector. How many of you know? I think most of you would have heard about it. MG Hector is here. Anything, any IoT device, that is connected to the internet, that is a cyber device. It is working based on your internet, nothing else. So cybersecurity is a practice of defending any technology that communicates to internet, be it any IoT device, be it your washing machine. There are washing machines that connect to internet. It seems to be funny, but yes, it is. That's how it is. There are washing machines that connect to the internet. Your camera that connects to the internet. Your mobile device that connects to the internet. There is an internet car right now. I don't know what more is going to come. So anything that is connected to the internet, you secure that. It's a practice that you design that technology. You protect that a device which is connecting to the internet. Nothing but the practice that you do is a cybersecurity practice. As simple as that. It could be a computer, your mobile device, your electronic systems, network, and even data stored in them. Sensitive data is continuously at risk, even though different kind of technologies and process to mitigate them are designed to protect it. Yes, obviously, yes. Obviously, yes. No one can say that the data that I have in my mobile phone is safe and sound. Though you have an antivirus installed, be it Avast or whatever antivirus that you get it installed in your laptop or in your mobile phone. Can we 100% say that no, my device is safe and sound and all the information that I have is safe and sound? No, not at all. Okay, Google, LinkedIn, Gmail, all these are interconnected. I don't know if you guys know it. If you go and type your name in Google, you know, you will start getting at least one profile among them would be your profile. It starts giving you the Facebook profiles. It starts giving you the LinkedIn profile. So all is interconnected. So none of your information is protected 100% for sure. So sensitive data is always at risk. Anyone can do it. It goes into the right hands. You don't have any issues. It goes into the wrong hands, and it's gone. We are completely done. Sensitive data here, any data saved on any device or an online storage or anything. You have your phone contacts that's saved in your mobile. That's again your own personal data, which cannot be, at any time compromised. You have your photos, you click photos in your mobile, you have it saved in your mobile device. Those are personal data which cannot be given to anyone else. Any sort of unauthorized access to such information is a security breach, as simple as that. Someone hacks your mobile phone, they take your mobile data, that's it. They take your, they use your gallery, they exploit your gallery, they take pictures of you, they take your documents, they take your phone contacts or whatever it is, then that's a vulnerability breach. As simple as that. Cybersecurity and its needs. Cybersecurity applies in a variety of contexts and can be divided into a few categories. So, as I told you, cybersecurity holistically is a big tower, that has multiple, small verticals, which all together makes it as a cybersecurity. Defending your mobile phone, or to say defending or protecting your information, you cannot do it at one phase. It involves multiple areas where you have to work together. You have to build a secure environment. Defending your house cannot be at your main gate alone, right? Very very simple layman example. It cannot be a main gate alone. You have to close your main gate. You have to build a wall towards it. You have to build a gate. You have to buy a good locker. You have to close that. Coming back to your next gate, you have to make sure that your doors are all strong. You close your doors. It involves multiple layers, right? So is how cybersecurity is. So a few common categories: network security, obviously, as I told you. Application security. The application that you use, securing your application is more important. Information or data security, the data that you use, encrypting your data. Someone, reads your data, they take the data away from you. They should not be able to know or read your data or understand what it is. So it's always going to be encrypted. Most of you would have used your banking sites where when you enter your password, you will not be able to see your password. It goes into dots. It gets encrypted at the back end. Once you submit it, if someone, a man in the middle attack is passed through, once you submit it, if someone is able to, retrieve your information, your login credentials, maybe a keylogger, installing a keylogger, they take out your login credentials, definitely they'll not be able to understand, what password you have kept. It takes them multiple, years and years of time to decrypt it and understand what's your password. It's encryption of data. Operational security, how, and in the operational perspective, what do we term as an operational perspective? The day-to-day operation, that involves in an organization, in a common man people. Email security. No, obviously the emails that you send, the emails that you receive, it must be secure. Endpoint security, the laptop host, and the other end devices that you have. Cloud security. What is cloud security here? Anything, any data on your cloud, be it Amazon, be it Azure, or be it Google, or whatever it is. You upload a data, you upload photos, you upload Word documents, or whatever it is. That involves the cloud security. Identity and access protection. What is identity and access protection? The things, you have an ID card. You all go to college, you have an ID card, you have a roll number. That's your identity and access protection, to put it in a layman. That's your identity. They identify you based on your identity card. That's why it's named as identity card. Yeah, identity and access protection. Web application security. You use any web application, you connect to facebook.com. That's a web application that you use. So securing that web application is pretty important. A combination of all these security with the intention to defend and protect against cyber threats. So when someone asks you what cyber security, the combination, or it's a practice of protecting information. Put it in simple terms: any device that connects to internet, you practice some methodology to protect it. That's cyber security practice. As simple as that. Cyber security practice has multiple towers or multiple verticals: network security, application security, endpoint security, web application security, host security. So all these kind of securities all put together is cyber security, and it's a practice of defending against cyber threats. To the devices, any device that connects to the internet is prone to cyber threats. Coming to the core topic. What is network security? Network security is a subset of cyber security. Any practice, or tools designed or implemented to protect information or data against hacking and unauthorized access. As simple as that. Whatever I told right now. It's a practice or a tool designed to implement to protect the information So here you protect the information and data against hacking or unauthorized access. Yeah, it's a subset of cybersecurity. So whatever definition you call for cybersecurity is the same for network security as well, since it's a subset of cybersecurity. So here you design a tool, you configure it, you put it across, and that's as simple as that. You follow a practice to defend the data of an organization, and that's network security for you. To break it down, it's a level of guarantee that all assets in a network are working optimally. Okay, say for an example, you have created a company. Okay, and that company has 10 employees altogether. Okay, and you have assets connected to the network in that company. Okay, and it's a promise that you give. All the assets that you have in the company are safe and connected when connected to the internet, which means the information, the data that you have in the company, okay, in the assets, in the laptops or desktops or whatever it is, you hold those informations, and those are safe and sound, and they are available always to the desired users only. Say only if I say user A only has to access system A, okay, and the information in that system should be safe and sound. So when one makes sure all these norms are clear, then that's network security. You have to make sure that the availability is there for the right people. Whomever has to access it, they should possess the access. The other should not have the access towards that particular uh, laptop or desktop. And the information in that laptop or desktop, should be secured, should be encrypted, so that if at all a cyber threat is happening, okay, if at all we get compromised, the data should not be taken by the cyber threat actor and exploited in a bad way, preventing unauthorized people from acting on the system maliciously. Okay, as simple as that. So you prevent unauthorized people. Say for an example, we all came through our college days, right? I cannot malform myself and create a duplicate ID card, put it on me, and walk through your college premises. Definitely not. So I'm an unauthorized people. I'm not permitted to do that because I'm not a student of the college. I'm not a student of that university. So I'm an unauthorized person. I cannot do that. So preventing that, to prevent that, what is that mode that you have? What is that being implemented by your college or university? Identity card. That is nothing but an example of identity and access management. So only the student of that college is permitted to enter the college with this identity. Only his identity is permitted, and he is only the right person to give the access for the college premises, be it library, be it whatsoever it is in the college. Only he can access that, preventing users from performing involuntary operations that are capable of harming the system. As simple as that. Okay, you are an authorized person to enter the college, but still you shouldn't involve in any malicious activity in harming the system or the properties of the college. The college set certain rules for that. As something like a computer science department, in student cannot go to a mechanical department lab, because I'm making sure only the computers, I'm restricting the access only to the computer science department student. And I will also give you the the rules and regulations that you have to follow in the college or in the lab. When you come to the lab, you have to wear your shoes. When you come to the lab, you have to wear your coat. When you come to the lab, you have to make sure all the lab equipments are proper before you leave out. So all these are norms which I'm putting out, okay, which I'm making sure I'm giving it to the right set of users, so that the system or the properties of the of the organization or university or college is not damaged at any reason. Securing data by anticipating failures, as simple as that. Say you are working, you're connecting to a Facebook, or let's put it in this way. Okay, you are using a data that you have put it in Google Drive. Okay, so that is very important data for you. Okay, so say for an example, the Google server goes down, not globally. Say in your region only. You say in India, and you access the Google server in India, and the Indian Google server went down. The connection went down. Does that mean that your data are gone? No, your data will be duplicated in a different region. So if this server goes down, your connectivity will automatically be rerouted to that particular server, so that your data is all safe. So securing the data by anticipating failures, if at all a failure happens, so they are anticipating all these failures and they make sure that they have a copy of the data, just like what we do. You will always copy your data, your files, and keep it in a separate folder, right? So that if at all, or in a hard disk, if at all your laptop or system crashes, you have all your data on your hard disk or your pen drive or your flash drive, right? Guaranteeing that service is not interrupted. As simple as that, what I told right now, Google services. So Google services promises you, no matter whatever it costs, the service that they provide. What service? Google Drive. Let's talk about Google Drive only. This Google Drive service that they provide you, okay, is no matter whatever it costs, it is not interrupted. The guarantee that they give. So that's also a network security example. So they give you a guarantee that whatever happens, whatever failover happens or whatever, my server goes down, my server gets crashed, my data center, there is an issue in my data center, whatever happens, I guarantee you that your services, the services that I offer to you is not interrupted. You can access your data unlimitedly. Who is a qualified network engineer? To be as a qualified network engineer, one must understand the potential attackers, probable victims or targets, attack methods executed, and the action on objectives. Let's break this down. Potential attackers. Someone who can attack it. Okay. You have a crore of money. Okay. You have kept it in your house. Let's put it in a layman example. You have 1 crore of money that you have in your house in your locker. Who is a potential attacker here? Any random person, any thief. So he's a potential attacker. Okay, if this money is stolen by any thief, who will be the probable victim? Definitely me or you, whomsoever is saving the money. Okay, attack methods. What methods can be? He can either break through the main gate, can come through the back gate. Okay, all these are attack methods. Action on objectives. Okay, after doing all these, why is he doing this? He wants to take that money out of you. So that's the action on objective. He demands money from you. So money is the action of objective here. So one must understand all these logics. These are all are interconnected. Attacker, a target, okay, and what method he uses to attack. Okay, if he is attacking, what is the objective of attack? Why is he attacking? What is the reason of attack? What is the benefit that he is going to get? So all these for an organization to be effective on network security, friend. Okay, let's say an organization should have the best network security built. Then there is a concept called defense in depth. That's the key tactic. Defense in depth is nothing but different layers of defense. Let's go to the old example. No, I'm still falling back to the old example just to make sure that you guys understand it. So let's go with the old example. You build a house, you keep multiple layer of defense. Front gate, walls that you build, go to your main door. You build windows, you build latches for all those windows. Yes, you build a grill gate in front of your main door. All these are defense. So an organization who follows this defense in depth layer, making sure that there are multiple layers. Even though if a robber breaks your main door or breaks your main gate, he should not be able to come through your main door. So you build a grill gate over there. So different layer of defenses if an organization has, and that's termed to be defense in depth. So which organization has this defense in depth, key tactic followed or, key metric, made sure to be implemented, then that's the best part of a network security. Then you say that organization has a very, very strong network security front. Network security solutions are implemented in accordance with core principles. Okay, now we talked about, the defense in depth, multiple layer of defense. Then you call that to be the best network security environment. Right. Okay. What is that core objective of network security? 3. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay. What is confidentiality? Protecting the data, asset, information, something like encryption. So I confidentially, give you some information such that only me and you know that information. A third person who comes in the middle will not know that information, and if at all he gets to know, he will never understand that information. Integrity, making sure that the data is not manipulated. So confidentiality, I make sure that the information is only confidential between me and you. Integrity, though he gets that information, that information cannot be manipulated at any reason. Manipulated. What is manipulated? I say your password is 1234 this way. You send me an email with your username and password. Okay, there is a man in the middle. He gets that email and he changes that password. No, he gets the original username and password and he changes the password to 3456. Sends you back that email. Okay, so your data here, the data or the information that you have sent here is manipulated, is edited, is corrupted. So that's what you call manipulation. So you give a confidence that the information that you send is compliance with integrity. So it's not manipulated at any cost. Availability. Making sure that the data, asset, or information is available all the time to the desired resource. So, or the destined resource. You buy a VM in Amazon, virtual machine in Amazon, you are paying money for it. Okay. That service is always available to you, no matter whatever it costs. Just like that, the company cannot get money from you, put it in their pockets, and say that some issue is there, so that you cannot access the service because you are paying money, and you are liable to get all those services. The core purpose of a network security, is just to maintain the CIA trait. This is called CIA trait: confidentiality, integrity, and availability.